In the wild, survival is never decided in advance. There are no rules, no guarantees, and no second chances. Every movement carries risk. Every sound could mean discovery, and every moment of hesitation can turn into a fatal mistake. Some animals are born hunters, shaped by generations of pursuit and precision. Others survive not through strength, but through awareness, timing, and the ability to endure fear longer than their enemy. This is not a simple story of predator and prey. It is a story about instincts colliding, about intelligence tested under pressure, and about how the balance of power in nature can shift in a single heartbeat. In this harsh landscape, both sides are driven by the same force: survival. One must succeed to eat, the other must survive to see another day. And when their paths cross, there is no retreat. Only a moment where nature decides who adapts and who disappears. The encounter takes place in a landscape where survival is shaped by constant pressure. This environment offers food, shelter, and opportunity, but only to those capable of navigating its dangers. Visibility is limited, cover is uneven, and every shadow has the potential to hide either safety or death. One of the animals in this story is a seasoned hunter. Its body is built for sudden acceleration, controlled force, and decisive action. Generations of evolution have refined its senses, allowing it to read subtle movements in the terrain: broken grass, disturbed soil, a shift in wind direction. Hunting, however, is never effortless. Every pursuit demands energy, focus, and precision. A single failed attempt can mean hunger, injury, or exposure to greater threats. The other animal faces a very different challenge. It does not rely on speed or overwhelming strength. Instead, its survival depends on awareness, positioning, and the ability to endure moments of extreme stress without panic. This animal understands the terrain in a different way. It knows where to move slowly, where to freeze, and when resistance may offer a better chance than escape. Neither side enters this moment willingly. The hunter searches for opportunity. The other searches for safety. But nature does not negotiate. When paths intersect, instinct takes control, and both animals are forced into a confrontation shaped by fear, hunger, and the limits of their own biology. Here, survival is not about dominance. It is about decisions made under pressure, decisions that cannot be undone. In the wild, instinct is not a single reaction. It is a system of learned behaviors, refined through countless encounters where hesitation often meant death. For the hunter, instinct favors efficiency. Energy must be conserved. Movement must remain controlled. An attack launched too early risks failure, while waiting too long may allow the opportunity to disappear entirely. This animal does not simply chase. It observes. It calculates distance, angle, and timing, choosing moments when resistance will be minimal and success more likely. Yet even the most experienced predators face uncertainty. Terrain can disrupt momentum. Unexpected movement can break focus. And a target that refuses to flee can create a problem no strategy fully prepares for. On the opposite side, instinct operates under a different priority: survival at any cost. Speed is not always an option. Escape routes may be limited, and turning away at the wrong moment could expose a fatal weakness. Instead of fleeing blindly, this animal relies on positioning and resolve. It understands that some predators hesitate when confronted with resistance. Not because the risk is overwhelming, but because injury carries long-term consequences. A wounded hunter may survive the encounter, yet lose the ability to hunt again. In the wild, that outcome can be just as fatal as immediate defeat. This is where instinct becomes psychological. Both animals assess not only strength, but risk. Not only opportunity, but consequence. The hunter weighs hunger against danger. The other weighs fear against endurance. Neither calculation is conscious. Both are driven by survival logic embedded deep within their nervous systems. And when these instincts collide, the outcome is never guaranteed. Because in nature, victory is not claimed by the strongest alone, but by the one whose instincts align most accurately with the moment. At some point, distance disappears. What was once a calculated pursuit narrows into a confined moment where reaction matters more than planning. The terrain no longer offers easy escape, and hesitation becomes dangerous for both sides. The hunter advances with caution. Every step is deliberate, guided by experience rather than urgency. It understands that forcing an outcome too quickly can reverse the balance, turning advantage into vulnerability. Across from it, the other animal senses the shift. The pressure intensifies. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tense, not for flight, but for readiness. This is the moment when many encounters are decided not by speed or strength, but by nerve. The hunter tests boundaries. A subtle movement, a controlled adjustment in position. Not an attack, but a probe searching for weakness, waiting for fear to create an opening. But fear does not always produce retreat. Instead, the response is resistance. Stillness replaces panic. The animal holds its ground, signaling that pursuit will not come without consequence. This unexpected defiance forces a recalculation. The hunter must now consider the cost of commitment. Injury, even minor, could threaten future survival, especially in an environment where competition is relentless and resources are uncertain. The air feels heavier. Time slows. Both animals remain locked in a silent exchange, each attempting to read intent through posture and movement. There is no sound, no dramatic signal, only tension. Nature offers no referee, no warning. When movement finally breaks the stillness, it is sudden and decisive. Not reckless, but unavoidable. This is no longer a test. It is an engagement shaped by instinct, fear, and the limits of control. Whatever happens next will carry consequences that extend far beyond this moment. Because in the wild, survival is never just about winning the encounter, but about surviving what comes after. Once the encounter begins, control becomes fragile. What seemed predictable moments earlier now unfolds with uncertainty. The hunter's advantage is challenged not through force alone, but through complexity. The terrain interferes. Angles close unexpectedly. Movements that once offered clarity now create hesitation. The other animal does not rely on overpowering strength. Instead, it uses timing and resistance, forcing the hunter to adjust repeatedly. Each adjustment consumes energy. Each second increases risk. In the wild, effort is currency, and every failed attempt drains reserves that cannot be easily restored. The hunter remains dangerous. Its instincts sharpen under pressure, adapting to shifting conditions. But adaptation takes time, and time is something this moment does not offer. Here, the balance of power fluctuates. Confidence gives way to caution. Caution threatens momentum. The resisting animal senses this shift, not consciously, but through instinct refined by survival. It presses its advantage where possible, not to dominate, but to disrupt. This is where many encounters turn. Not because one side becomes stronger, but because one side becomes less certain. The hunter must now decide whether to escalate or disengage, to commit fully and accept potential injury, or to retreat and preserve future chances. Neither option guarantees survival. In this suspended moment, nature reveals a harsh truth. Strength without opportunity is meaningless, and opportunity without precision is fleeting. As pressure builds, both animals operate at the edge of their limits. Instinct pushes forward. Risk pulls them back. The outcome remains unresolved, balanced between hunger and endurance, between aggression and restraint. And as the struggle continues, one reality becomes clear. There will be no clean victory, only survival or its absence. As the encounter reaches its conclusion, the outcome reveals itself not through triumph, but through consequence. Whether the hunter withdraws or the resistance holds, the moment leaves its mark. Energy has been spent. Focus has been tested, and the margin for future survival has narrowed. In the wild, success is rarely absolute. A predator that fails to secure food must continue searching, carrying the weight of exhaustion and missed opportunity. A prey animal that survives the encounter may escape immediate danger, but not without cost. Stress lingers long after the confrontation ends. Muscles remain tense. Awareness stays heightened. Even brief encounters can disrupt feeding patterns, movement routes, and rest. For the hunter, the decision to disengage is not weakness. It is strategy, a calculation shaped by experience, recognizing that survival depends on long-term viability, not momentary dominance. Injury, even unseen, carries risk. A slight limp, a strained muscle, a broken tooth. Any of these could shift the balance in the next encounter with rivals, with prey, or with the environment itself. For the resisting animal, survival brings no celebration. It brings vigilance. Escape does not mean safety, only distance. The wild offers no recovery period, no pause. Every animal must immediately return to the demands of its existence, carrying the memory of what almost happened and what could happen again. This is the reality of survival. Not victory, but continuation. Each day is earned. Each breath is temporary. And every encounter, whether resolved or avoided, shapes the next decision in an unforgiving cycle that never truly ends. In nature, survival is never guaranteed. There are no clear winners, only those who endure long enough to face the next challenge. Strength fades, speed slows, and even the sharpest instincts can fail under the wrong conditions. What determines survival is not dominance alone, but adaptation, the ability to respond when circumstances refuse to follow expectation. Every encounter becomes a lesson written in instinct rather than memory, a lesson that influences movement, timing, and restraint. The wild does not reward aggression blindly. It rewards accuracy, patience, and the ability to withdraw when survival demands it. For some, survival means feeding. For others, it means escaping unseen. Both outcomes are shaped by the same force, nature's indifference. And as life continues across this landscape, countless similar encounters unfold beyond our sight. Most go unnoticed. All are unforgiving, because in the end, the wild does not choose sides. It only allows those who adapt to remain, until the next moment of uncertainty arrives.